Ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to introduce our next panel discussion, Looking Ahead, Next Gen of Trade Tech. Please help me welcome on stage our moderator, AB Samuel, founder and CEO at Finext, who will introduce his fellow tech experts. AB, dear speakers, the stage is yours.
Okay. Hello. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. I know I'm sitting between you and your lunchtime, so I'll try to keep it as quick as possible as well. Just to introduce, thank you so much. I'm Abhi Samuel, founder and CEO of Finext. We are a Singapore-based fintech. We provide the next-gen digital front office for brokers and multi-asset brokers and other financial institutions. That leads me to the topic, which is looking ahead to the next gen of trade tech. Today we have an esteemed guest panelist from different walks of life with different diverse experiences and wealth of knowledge in the industry, both from a tech perspective as well as from broker. So I'm really looking forward and excited for the session today. Without further ado, I'll let you all give a quick round of introduction about yourself.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Petros. I represent a company called Tools for Brokers. We are a pure B2B IT service provider focusing on the part of the execution of trades. I'm serving the company from the position of director and head of Cyprus office. I'm extremely happy to be here with friendly faces again. I think we have very, very interesting things to say. So thank you very much for everything in advance. And hopefully, when you will leave from here, you will have learned at least one thing new.
Hello, I'm Dennis Weisert from ISAM Securities. Thank you for having me. We are a liquidity provider and technology provider. Worked in a bank, then in a retail broker, did many years in a fintech company, and I'm now happy that I have liquidity and technology to my fingertips, and yeah, I'm happy we will have a good panel.
Good evening. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everything is fine. Thank you for having me here today. It's a pleasure to be here. Is it working? All good? My name is Andrew. I'm from B2 Broker. We're effectively a liquidity and technology provider. We're building brokers from scratch. We empower them with our technologies from A to Z. And yeah, really hope that this panel today would be really fruitful.
My name is Milica, but people call me Millie because they find it difficult to pronounce Milica. I always wonder why, because it rhymes with pizza, and everybody can say pizza. Anyway, this is not a food and beverage conference, it's technology. I've been in the finance industry for 15 years. I have worked for small brokers, mid-sized brokers, as well as the biggest brokers in the world. I have the privilege of working for Exness right now, within the trading department, where my main focus is on improving our in-house custom aggregation engine, as well as our trading conditions. I have worked in London, Sydney, as well as Cyprus, and have also worked for market data and technology providers, as well as worked with large investment banks that are trading FX and gold on the most liquid market tier one liquidity platform in the world. And I'm very excited to be here.
Hello everyone, my name is Christian. I'm the CEO of Centroid Solutions. I've been in this industry all my professional career, almost 15 years now. And a few words about Centroid. We are a B2B fintech company. We provide core technology solutions for brokers, prop firms, and other financial institutions. Primarily, we specialize in the back-end systems and solutions, such as liquidity and connectivity bridging engines, risk management systems based on big data analytics, and hosting and infrastructure solutions.
Thank you, everyone. Some of these conferences are so serious, I wish there can be more smiles in the room than talk as well. But really happy to know all your backgrounds and excited. I think when we were preparing for this session, we were thinking what are the topics that we can talk about because it's such a broad spectrum. Today we'll definitely touch on AI, ML. It'll be funny if we don't. I was just reading a news article that by 2026, just in the financial industry alone, the growth of AI will be around up to $26 billion just till 2026 in financial services alone. Right? We'll touch upon a few next-gen trading platforms, how trading platforms are evolving and adapting themselves, CRM systems, big data, cloud computing. So to keep yourself excited, let me first dive deep into the first question. I think we cannot start a next-gen discussion in tech without touching upon AI. So the first question to probably Millie I'll call you Millie as well, yeah? Melissa is good, but Millie is easier. Millie
Sure.
and Petros to start with. What's the impact of AI and ML on the client acquisition and retention strategies for retail brokers with AI driving personalization, predictive analytics? How can these technologies enhance brokers' abilities to attract and retain clients?
It's a good question, and it's happening already, actually. Brokers that are not using AI and ML are falling behind the curve because we all know about the 80-20 rule, where you can attract 20% of the clients bring you 80% of the value. And if you're able to identify those, you can then work on attracting them and increase your efficiency as well as your bottom line. So, for example, when it comes to acquisition, it's useful to use AI because it helps you to identify certain trends, for example, that are happening in the market. It also helps you to identify the clients that you would like to target. So then you can give them relevant information exactly at the time that they're looking for it. And you're not wasting your time speaking to somebody who will never bother opening a CFD trading account. And of course, we've all been in a conversation with a chatbot. Sometimes they're great. Actually, they're becoming better and better. I remember back in the day, it was quite painful speaking to them because you had to go through a lot of hoops until you got to a real person and they didn't know so much. When it comes to chatbots, it's interesting that even though we think we are so evolved with regards to it, but even as early as 2023, Google released its chatbot called Bard, and Bard gave a wrong answer at a demo, something about a space telescope, and it resulted in Google's price plummeting 8%, which was worth about $100 billion. So I think AI has tremendous power to make companies rich, as well as to negatively impact the bottom line, so we have to be very careful. There are also benefits for retention, but I'm not going to hog the whole answer, so pass it over to Petros.
Thank you. Technically what AI is doing in the last couple of years is actually help you don't waste your time. This is in a very simplified way. It doesn't matter if you're the trader or you're the owner of the company, and it's all about time. I mean, the current working environment and living environment is so fast-paced that companies cannot afford making wrong decisions or having an 8% drawdown in their stock just because of somebody didn't choose the right audience to target. So technology is there, of course, to help you. But as Millie mentioned, it has such a power that in some cases it really has to be controlled or used in a more, let's say, safe way, because it can actually have the opposite result for the company. So I think that we are seeing in the last few years a tremendous assist towards the brokers on the customer acquisition. But I also think that we are in the very, very, very beginning, so the potential is huge.
Absolutely. I think just to add on, my personal experience with most of these brokers who are adapting, I think AI, everybody expects it to be predictive, but not everything has to be predictive in order to attract or retain clients. Just to make it intelligent with insights that can be even searched quickly for clients, that retains the clients more. If you can provide them insights into when their documents or KYCs are expiring, when their trading platforms or margins are getting called faster in a more efficient manner than giving them predictive analytics, which gets into regulatory compliance issues, etc. That helps in both client acquisition as well as retention, right? Next question. Maybe Dennis, Christian, please. Anyone else? Andrew can jump in as well. What are the key features for next-gen trading platforms that cater to today's retail traders, especially with AI in context and considering the growing needs of the advanced tools, real-time analytics, and user-friendly interfaces in particular? How these platforms are transforming the trading experiences?
I can add something here. So it goes very well into the question you had before about AI, and I think the features and the feature needs are very similar to what clients wanted before. So, for example, nice charting, analytics, and which was an indicator before, or an EA which helped you to do some automatic trading. That's the same things, it's just on a massive scale. So the challenge is to provide the client now the tools they are out there, because you can provide a client on their fingertips what a bank department did in the past in a research department. And there's so much information, or the trading system, you can have a quant analytics department at the fingertips by providing AI. But it's a challenge to put this into a system, and I have respect for clients who build trading platforms because it's easy to criticize, and yeah, there's just, you want to add social media, you want to add news, you want to add the charting, you want to have it fast, you want to have it resilient. It is a massive undertaking, so whoever builds trading platforms, you have my respect.
Yeah, to add on the same topic when it comes to AI and machine learning, I think very important now is that traders do not want to spend a lot of time, hours and hours, to do their own research anymore, like Dennis correctly mentioned. It's all about delivering that content to them directly in the trading platform. They have this requirement now, basically, and they want it in an easy way, like actionable insights or so, which is, of course, quite difficult to achieve. Also, I think where AI can make a big impact is basically being able to analyze all this unstructured amount of data in really real time and provide the key summaries that are needed in order to at least get the sentiment, let's say, that might lead to a potential trade, right? At least you're going with the overall sentiment. Another part that I would like to highlight that I believe it's important for trading platforms is basically the learning aspect. I think that it's very important to have this already embedded at the level of the trading platform. This can add a lot of value for the traders and also increase retention rates on the broker side. And here I'm not referring just to, let's say, having webinars and so on to just teach the traders how to trade, but at the same time also it can go a bit further. You can analyze the historical trading experience of the customers, what they are doing and so on, and based on that you can come up with real life examples particular to each individual trader where they made some sort of mistake, right? And you can bring this forward to them and you can tell them what would have been a better approach to handle that part. So I think that this is very, very important. It can make a big difference if, of course, it's delivered right. Now, I want to add one more thing, which is not related to AI when it comes to the trading platforms. I think we're already seeing a lot of this, but I think we will see this more and more in the future, and this refers to the multi-asset aspect of things. Now, traders are wanting to trade more and more assets, not just FX, commodities and so on, but also go into options, go into ETFs, go into more complex products. And I think that they are looking to have this in a seamless way in one trading platform and also in a consolidated account. There's a lot of complexity that comes with that, ranging from how to handle margin requirements, collateral, reporting, tax reporting, and so on and so forth. And I think that a very big focus we're going to see from the trading platforms is going to be in this part, to deliver this kind of experience for traders.
Andrew, would you like to add anything based on
Oh, yeah, definitely I can try, but everything was mentioned before. However, in my belief, I truly believe in that if we're looking from the AI perspective, we should really divide needs for the business and needs for the clients. That's a slightly different things. As Christian mentioned, yes, absolutely. Analytical of historical data, analytical of the trends, and use AI for it instead of wasting time to make your trading decision more educated, more prepared. Yes, absolutely, 100%. However, for the business owners and for the businesses, whether it's a broker or not necessarily even from the fintech, AI is the greatest tool for automation process of some manual work. imagine support, imagine even in a certain way some filtration of the requests of the clients, which can initially be answered by AI. If you train him, and this is where we're looking at the machine learning, if you train properly, if you program it properly, you will not need a support department even. Yes, of course, there would be a robot behind. However, robot may be no more knowledgeable sometimes, if you would train him correctly. And on top of that, obviously, the trends and just in general, everything what is happening but numbers-wise. Instead of doing this big data analytics and everything, AI would optimize that and make your researches, your analytical things on what is going on and how to improve it, again, provide you with the ability to take and make more educated decisions. So why it's a great tool, and I presume, yeah, it's just early stages of the beginning of the era of the AI, but still, I truly believe that people will still be needed to manage it.
No, I agree. I attest to what you're saying. I was just talking to a founder of one of the trading platforms, top trading platforms who have a booth here. So they introduced the new AI capabilities. But I think currently, if you ask most of them AI, the only picture that we get in our mind is ChatGPT, so question and interface with LLM where you can search some queries. But he was saying that while we have put this in, the visualization aspect of making decisions based on charts and graphs is so much more intuitive that doing a research is okay, but not to make instant decisions. But I'm sure in the next 1 or 2 years, as the AI algorithms as well as capabilities increase, the adoption of AI inside the platforms will have different use cases which we have not even thought about yet. All right? Lovely. Another interesting part, especially for the brokerage and the industry that we are talking about, Andrew and Petros, maybe you can shed some light on the innovation, especially in the CRM systems, because brokers, the core of their business runs on CRM systems, how they manage, maintain their clients. What is driving better sales management and customer management in retail forex industry? How and what are the systems integrating AI to provide more personalized and efficient services?
I would say it's all about the data. Like a few years ago, everybody would tell you that I need the data. I need to have the data for this. And now everybody's telling you, I need somebody to tell me what to do with the data fast. And there comes AI. So in the last couple of years, we have seen that the CRM providers have become more and more sophisticated when it comes to their products. It just is not just an interface where you can see the name of the client and an email and you can do simple stuff. Some of the big companies that are in our client base, they are actually using their CRM as the central database, and they connect through API every other single software that they're using. Doesn't matter if it's a platform or a PSP or whatever. And then they use the CRM as their internal database, and then from there they feed various departments, some of them with the use of AI, and they give the opportunity to the heads and to the teams to take better decisions about hedging, sending exclusive content for gold to some traders, and in general, anything that can do and optimize the operation task. So the CRM is becoming a much more powerful tool than it used to be 12 years ago when I started. And I think that it's all about the use of the data, to be honest.
Yeah, since coming from the software background a bit, software solutions. Yeah, but I absolutely agree with you 100%. The CRMs now, they are extra sophisticated. Even take a look back at 1, 2, 3 years ago. Back in the days, it was a few payment systems, trading platform, and that's it. Nowadays, CRM can literally close the basic necessity of having anything else open in front of you. You have everything. You haven't built it into the air, all of the reporting system, all of the analytical tools, so on and so forth. Though, from a CRM perspective, it's nowadays, that is what we can see, and this is what we're doing, it's extremely important to stay ahead of, obviously, competition and ahead of the technology solutions as well. So, starting with accessibility, everything, all of the software and IT services, they better be moved to the cloud infrastructure. Just for the scalability, just for, as we discussed before, so integration all of the tools, AIs, because technically AI would be bombarding at a database with random requests. And in order to sustain this and in order to enjoy the AI, obviously the ecosystem should be sustainable. And maybe just to add on what Petros just mentioned, I will call it ecosystem approach in a certain way. So CRM now, yes, of course, it's a great feeder, it's a great source of information from everything what is happening within the business. But what matters here, the fruitful or just the full list of integrations possible. There should, from the provider perspective, at least we are doing that, there is no limitation what we do not have. If we do not have something, we're going to add it. If it was not added before, if it's, I don't know, something totally new, okay, we're working on it already. And this is very important. So the reach of the functionalities that your client may potentially be using, even though they are not in need of having this as of this moment of time, they may need it more. Same thing happened with the prop trading. Remember, everyone was for CFD, and now pretty much a lot of CFD brokers started with a prop offering, and vice versa. This is what is coming. The trend, in order to be adapted to the trend, that's an ecosystem approach, obviously. Saying nothing about the analytics, saying nothing about the reporting, we are presuming that this is like a must-have. But yeah, definitely.
No, absolutely. CRM is right up my alley and core of my business. So definitely I'll at least share what we have seen and experienced. I come from Southeast Asia, and most of the business in Southeast Asia runs with IBs. We have customers with almost 6,000 IBs with 17 layers of sub-IB. The way the rebates used to get calculated manually, today we've automated all of that, give insights, in fact, give the power to the brokers to enable them to incentivize the IBs based on the performance that they have, not just the rebates, have award systems, qualifier engines. So the advancement that's happening in CRM system is truly going to be the enabler for the brokers of how they attract, retain, as well as maintain their clients, right? Lovely. How can retail brokers leverage data analytics and optimize their back office operations, streamline processes? And what are the latest trends in data analytics that are proving beneficial to the brokers? Dennis and Christian, maybe a quick jab. Then we'll come to the brokers soon.
Sure, yeah, I can start with that. Well, as everyone mentioned over here, data now, it's very, very important. And I think that one of the challenges right now for brokers is that it's just the complexity of their setup is just growing. There are more and more components out there. We just mentioned CRM as actually being the place where everything is trying to be consolidated, but still there are many other systems out there, multiple trading platforms, execution venues, execution engines, and so on. So it's very, very important to be able to just gather all this data, normalize it, and then analyze it basically. And here is where powerful data analytics can make a very big impact, because you're able to just automate all this process and then achieve more efficiency, get better insights, and so on. Yeah. Now, for brokers, risk management sits at the core of their operations. And it's the one aspect that benefits the most, basically, from complex data analytics. The more data you have available, the more informed decisions you're able to take, basically. So, for example, by using data analytics, what you could do is you could continuously monitor and profile the activity and the behavior of each of your customers, right? And you can therefore segment the customers, so the broker can have tailor-made offerings for each of these segments of customers, achieving better profitability as well. Another aspect can be where data analytics can be used is basically in running what we call stress testing and gap analysis, where here brokers will conduct a series of tests on their current portfolio to see what movements on specific products or set of products, what impacts will have that on their portfolio. And based on those insights, based on those tests, they then decide what will be their risk management strategy, how they can minimize risk and again increase profitability.
Lovely. Yes?
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. So the data is more and the data is valuable, and the risk system sits at the core to make an informed decision about what you want to do with the risk, what you want to do with the client specific, or maybe just with the trade. So we talked about CRM. I think there's a lot of value in the data in the CRM, which you maybe don't find in your trading platform. And you want to combine this all, and it's interesting. It's actually very interesting. I worked on a dealing desk 10 years ago, and I did Excel spreadsheets, and top profitable clients 100, top losing clients 100, and exposure. And having this now in risk platforms where I know you provide one as well. I think, Millie, you have your own. We have our radar software, and what I'm doing now is interesting. I'm talking to head of dealings, head of risk, and whatever I or the quant team I have doesn't have in mind. They tell me how they look at risk, what they look at, and back office system is another point where the information comes from. Trading system comes information from, and then you can predict behavior with analytics. Even we're talking about AI. We talked a lot about AI, but for analytics, I would say for risk, we stay with analytics. We have a human who makes an informed decision, but you want to combine all the information to make a fast and good decision.
One thing to add to that is also very important, I would think, function of the back office is basically to reconcile all this data. This is something that we also do as part of our service, basically for the customers, and it can be quite a challenge, especially in a setup that keeps moving, keeps structuring. So reconciliation has to be done actually, ideally in real time, or quite often at least. And if this is done manually, it's extremely time consuming and expensive. So this is where data analytics can help with that. And not only that, it can also help you, safeguard you against quite significant losses if some of these discrepancies are not proactively checked and basically then dealt with.
Yeah. Of course, as we're all aging, as the technology is aging, the data is only going to increase over time. We were just working with one of our clients. They have more than 30 just trading platforms that they're connected to. So just imagine the number of trading accounts, transaction history, data that they have, the amount of time. It's not only about the analytics, but also about the insights that get derived that can be actionable, right? Based on so much of data, unless for the specific departments, whether it is marketing, whether it is sales, whether it is back office, they make insights out of the data that's analyzed. For one of the examples that we have helped them solve is to create sentiment analytics out of so many transactions. What's the actual real-time sentiments that's happening on the retail market space that they can now sell as a service to their top clients is something that helps them derive insights and also use that as a value service that they provide to the customers. Right? Lovely. I think we have spoken a lot to tech providers like us. I would like to direct the questions to Millie and get some perspectives from a broker, especially XNES. I think I call XNES the Tesla of the industry, just because of the sheer volume that you guys do. I want to focus a little more on the trading platform. What advancements do you all see from a brokerage perspective internally that you all are doing, specifically that you mentioned that you're working on some of the key aspects? Would love to hear your insights, and maybe Andrew or someone from our side can add a few words as well.
Sure, yeah, it's a great question. There have been a lot of developments. I'll give you an example for us. One of the things we've been working on the last few years is decentralizing our execution engines. So technological developments have made it possible for us to place execution engines at different locations around the world, which resulted in faster execution for clients, less slippage, etc., all the benefits. So if you think about it, it's a bit like if you trade with a broker that only executes in a single location, it's like shopping at a grocer that might have the shop on the other side of town. So you hear that they have a watermelon, 15 cents a kilo, and you're like, oh, great, you get into the car, you drive fast, but there's traffic, then you need to put petrol. By the time you get there, they sold out all the 15-cent delicious watermelon, and you're stuck buying the 30-cent. And the alternative is, in another scenario, you are living in a place where there's a grocer that has a lot of conveniently located chains, they're all around you, and you hear about this 15-cent watermelon, you don't even have to get into your car, you just walk down the street, there it is, yummy watermelon, you enjoy it all day long. And if that shop happens to be closed, there are other shops nearby, so it's not going to take long. So technology has allowed us to significantly improve customer experience in terms of execution speed, resilience, etc. And that's just one example. I have more, but...
Lovely. Andrew, any thoughts on that you would like to add?
Not my, well, to my mind, well, maybe I'm wrong, so maybe if you can correct me, that would be great. Again, coming back to the topic of the technology and coming back not only to the execution, I presume, what is really important is, again, the accessibility, but not accessibility limited to certain operation system to certain system preferences or parameters. Trading platform as is, nowadays at least, should be compatible with anything, anywhere, anytime. Whether it's web, mobile, absolutely doesn't matter. The full functionality should be there. And yeah, if it's somehow added on top of the decentralization of the execution, well, that's a win-win for the broker and for the client.
Agreed. And on the note of including many different things, I believe one of the reasons for the great success we have achieved at XNES is the fact that we are able to offer customized trading conditions, such as, for example, unlimited leverage. If we were developing our technology, if we were buying technology out of the box, it would be very difficult and probably wouldn't exist. We wouldn't be able to find such functionality. But for us, technology allows us to basically think of some feature that might be attractive and then develop it ourselves and offer it to clients, as well as be unique. And if we identify some trends or something that clients are really interested in, we can focus on it and customize it and tailor it. So having a strong technology department is, I believe, essential nowadays in order to succeed.
Yeah, but there's always, given that all of us are technology providers, I'll say there's a build versus buy. You guys have arrived in life. There are people who have to take that journey where they will use vendors like us. But I'm sure, there's always an advantage of build versus buy, which I think, depending on the maturity of the broker and the scale at which their operations is, it is a decision that they have to make, whether they host internally, they buy software internally, or they build internally, right? So.
It's a bit like renting a house versus building yourself a house that's like perfect for you. So there are advantages and disadvantages with both. If you rent, it's fast, it's easy, you can move easily. But if you buy a house, you can make it exactly as you want, but it's going to require more resources and time.
I agree. You should be able to afford whether to buy the houses. Until you cannot afford, you should rent.
This is what I wanted to mention, that of course it really depends on the scale. And if we talk about XNES, I completely understand that they have a large scale, more developers probably certainly than we have on our side even, right? So that's fair play. However, for most of the brokers is not necessarily the case. And I think what's important is to leverage the expertise of the tech providers that have also been building this over and over and over again. So, for example, coming to the analogy of the house, if somebody built houses for 20 years and knows how to build them, it can come up with a better result and a more cost-efficient result than building your dream house from scratch, right? But again, it depends on budget, time, scale, and so on and so forth.
These guys have money to buy a lot of builders along with. So then when you reach that stage, it doesn't really matter, right? So
I would like to add something. And the house is a perfect analogy. And I understand this, but now we talk about scale. You are huge. The company you work for is huge. Christian explained that not everyone can afford this or has different capabilities. Now we can scale this even further. I will drive next week from London back to my hometown in Berlin, and I will drive over the Autobahn. I will use the La Manche tunnel. I cannot build that. So I need professional companies who give me a highway, to give me a car, and to give me a tunnel to get there. So not everything can be built by yourself.
Fair enough, it makes sense. We are privileged, and it didn't happen overnight. It did start with our owner developing initial code by himself, and it grew gradually. Actually, we have a few developers here in the room, so I think you're right. We do have a lot of developers, absolutely.
Great, thanks guys for keeping it engaging. I think another really core part of the business is the bridge technology, right? How can the modern bridge technology improve the connectivity and execution speed between trading platforms and the liquidity providers? Like, what are the benefits and challenges associated with this technology to begin with that are getting overcome in the next generation? I think this is right up the alley of most of the people. Dennis, Christian, and Petros. Maybe Petros can start, or...
I can give it a quick start first and then let the discussion carry on. Well, basically, I think that there are actually many aspects that need to work hand in hand when it comes to improving the execution between trading platforms and liquidity providers. When it comes to, let's say, the bridge engine, actually these aspects can be split into a few different categories. So you can have the software and application level, maybe most important for everyone, but I would also emphasize on the importance of the infrastructure where this is running and the connectivity avenues that you have for this. And finally, also location, I think it's also key. So nowadays, bridge engines, how they are still called, I think that they have become very complex systems that deliver a lot of functionality and cater to a lot of the needs for the brokers. It's not just facilitating just the execution. And this requires a lot of in-depth integration between the trading platforms and the bridge engines. And I can tell you that it's becoming a challenge now with all of these trading platforms that are coming, that for each and every one of them, this kind of integrations have to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to follow up. I agree with what you said. And a short discussion I had with Millie in front of the door came to my mind. We said we do not want to just share the obvious and provide maybe some value to the audience. So everyone knows speed is important and it should be fast and it should be very fast. And I was in Australia meeting a few big brokers, a few friends, and they told me about some latency arbitrage issues. And we know speed is important. So I thought, okay, so how much money does speed cost you actually? Is there a dollar value you can put to it? So I went back to the office and discussed with the quant team, the trading team, and said, oh, give me a dollar value. How much does this cost? And they did a very interesting analysis and checked that in average across, and you would say you can leave around $30,000 on a table per month per yard you are trading on quiet markets, and on NFP, where we know the market is more volatile, there's more load on the server, there's more speed required, so you can leave up to 100K on the table doing NFP per yard. So if you think about this and you're a 13-yard broker, just a random number, you do 3 of the yards during NFP, usually you would do 10 yards doing the rest of the day. That's $500,000 you leave on the table by being slow. And I think Christian and I were working very hard to have the newest and fastest technology out there. And if you look at other companies, other brokers who use other technology, that's technology which was started 15 years ago. So I had fun and I looked up which Windows version was out 15 years ago. I'm not sure you remember, that was like Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8. I would not run my business on Windows Vista, even if it's updated in between. So performance is important and it costs you real money. So this is what I wanted to give to the audience as takeaway for today.
I would like to quickly add on that. I completely agree, and I think that we as technology companies, since we are newer companies, have the privilege to use the latest technology and not have to build on top of old legacy code, let's say. But in general, for companies, it's very important to just reinvent themselves once in a while too. So performance is definitely key, but also clever design and scalability, it's equally important, right? And Dennis touched on a very important point around these volatile NFP periods, right? So you need to have a clever design in order to be able to allocate maybe more resources during those periods of volatility based on your estimated growth. What we see on our side is that we are offering solutions to so many different brokers, and we don't necessarily know their setups and how their business is going to evolve over time, and even the changes that they are making. So we need to always make sure that we analyze, make sure that we plan for scalability, and have these clever designs to provide the performance when it is needed, basically. That's a challenge, but I think that, again, with the right technology and the right approach, you can turn it into an opportunity.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's fully covered, but I just have one sentence. Doesn't matter if the bridge will help you execute in B-book or A-book. All the topics are important. Location, infrastructure, speed, stability. We see a lot of demand in the last few years about using the AI technology into the bridge infrastructure. Maybe Christian has the same request. And usually the dealers or quants or head of risk, they want to use the data that they see in front of them from the bridge without having to log into somewhere else, and etc. So it all comes back to all the topics that we discussed before. So the bridge has to be there, it has to be reliable, it has to be fast, and it has to be in a correct location, because that clearly defines the speed.
Yeah, to add to this location, I completely agree that it is very, very important, if possible, right? If possible to be in the same exact location. Sometimes it's not possible. And that's where I think a clever design can actually help. So I can give a very quick example. When it comes to limit order executions, usually these orders would be resting at the level of the trading platform, let's say MetaTrader, and only when the right price comes along, they will get triggered and have to travel all the way back to get executed. So you can also turn it around though. If you have designated trading counterparts, you can actually synchronize the resting orders and have them sit directly on the liquidity provider or trading venue side. And as soon as that matching price is being generated there, the execution will be done instantaneously, right? So this is quite a complex synchronization mechanism between what's on the trading platform, what's on the liquidity provider side, that can achieve much better behavior, even if you're not in the same exact location.
Lovely, thanks. Given that we have only 4 minutes, maybe we'll keep the last 2 minutes for question. I'll probably take 1 or 2 questions. I'm going to skip a few questions that we had discussed earlier. Maybe I'll start with Millie. How are retail forex brokers, given that you're pretty much top of the pyramid, right? How are you all utilizing big data analytics realistically internally to drive better decision making and business strategies internally? Like, what are the trends of big data that brokers should be aware of? Because you guys have pretty much nailed it. What is it, given I'm sure that there are a few brokers inside who would like to get some inspiration from someone like you all. What exactly do you all do in terms of data analytics internally? Let me share.
If I told you, I would have to kill you. I'm joking. Big data is at the core of our business. Actually, we're very data focused, and we believe that the scientific approach is in our DNA. And I believe this is a huge contributor to our success. So we made jokes earlier about how we have a lot of developers. We also have a lot of data analysts. We have quantitative researchers here in the room as well. So it's all about being able to consume large quantities of data and derive some conclusion from it that you can use to grow your business. One example is, for example, we are the only broker that offers instant withdrawals. We are doing that by being able to understand the profile of the client, understand our risks, and in majority of cases, it results in us being able to process this withdrawal instantly. Another example is we use big data to understand which clients have market risk and which clients don't. And if we have a client that's, for example, extremely profitable, but the client is exposed to market risk, in such a case, we are actually able to, and we do allow a client to continue trading even though the profits are just growing. Actually, recently we had a client from Latin America who was thanking us for allowing them to keep their account open because they were so profitable, because with other brokers they had problems. So I think it's a very broad question, but I've just given a few examples. I believe that it's not a preference to understand the data, it's a need for any business.
Lovely, that's good. I don't want you to dwell too much, otherwise you'll end up killing me, so it's better. Any other, Dennis, would you like to take a jab? If not, we can open it up for questions, we just have 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think I keep it short. I agree with what you said, Millie. We talked about analytics before. It is important to make an informed decision to handle your risk and to decide what you do with your flow and with your client and with each order. So it is the cornerstone, it should be the cornerstone of the broker, in my opinion.
Lovely, thank you. Any questions from the audience? I'm not allowed to give any incentives, otherwise I would have given, but any questions? Yeah, we have one.
Hi, thank you very much, very insightful. I come from the security world. My name is Iva Tasheva, cybersecurity compliance consulting. You mentioned the Windows versions, and of course this triggers me that probably you meant security, but you didn't mention it explicitly. Is security something that you're also concerned for the future, or it's something that you feel you handle, you got it solved already?
I would like to answer to this. The security is very important, and I can give you real life example out of what I have experienced, and I think we all experience similar in the company. Back in the days, I think we had a cybersecurity added somewhere to a job description of someone in some company, and then now in the company I'm working with, we have a department, a multi-head department, and this is a big thing, and they do hard work for us and for our clients. And then this goes to who we work with and how we are structured. So I'm not sure you have heard, I guess you have heard about zero trust model. It just means you do not trust anyone inside your company, you do not trust anyone outside your company, and then you work with other market leading providers who do not trust anyone in their company and do not trust anyone outside. And this is the IT level we are living in, and yeah, so I hope I answered your question. Big change, and it is a factor companies need to consider, which I haven't seen when I started.
Okay, given that we are out of time, thank you very much everyone for making time during your lunch time. A big round of applause for the panelists, please.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.